Welcome to the Traveling Professors. I'm Professor Bob.
And I'm Professor Sherry.
And together we are
the Traveling Professors.
Professor Bob here. Professor Sherry's tired from all the walking we did and traveling we did on the first day to get to Carcassonne, so I'm going to take you on an evening walk through the fortifications at night at Carcassonne. Here's a classic view of Carcassonne from the River Aude at night, and you can see just how beautiful it is when it's all lit up. And they do this every night. The battlements are just spectacular. Now, this is from a postcard that I purchased because, let me tell you, the walk down would have been easy, but the walk back up would have been a killer. The walk will begin from our hotel. This is the little square in front of our hotel. So we're going to go down the street and we're going to take the left little corridor there. You can actually get to where we're going by taking the right one and then taking the next left. But we're heading out to the fortifications. Tonight we're going to walk between the two main walls. The interior wall, which is built by Philip III and Philip IV, and the outer wall, which was built by Louis IX. We're walking in what is known as the lists, the gap area between the two walls. In one section, that's where the old town used to be, or parts of the old town, which they had to demolish in order to put the second wall in. And the other was just a sloping ground that they leveled off when they built the second series of walls. I'm going to exit through the Porte d'Aude, or the Gate d'Aude, and then we'll walk counterclockwise. We'll go behind the Tronqueville Castle until we get to the lower lists section, then we'll go all the way around to the Trésor Tower, and then the main gate, and then we will come back down the other direction, which is the high list yard, and then return to where we started and come back in. We're now out of the city. We're in the area between the two walls, and we're heading through this little gate up ahead, which is right next to the Tower of Justice. We will then walk along the back of the castle, which is pretty narrow and pretty dark. Once you get on the other side of the castle, then you can see the next set of walls and the Roman protection. These are fortification walls that show the old Roman style towers, but they're part of what's known as the northern ramparts. And so the tower up ahead of us is known as the Tower of the Charpentier. And when you get directly underneath it, you can see the kind of effects that you get with the lighting. I'm standing directly underneath it looking at that second level of defenses, but the lighting on the first level defenses puts this beautiful shadow up onto the walls. And I was told by people who live here that the night sky, depending on what is going on, is just spectacular. And there's been a storm in the region. It rained for a little while before I came out, and you'll see the clouds kind of changing as we move along. Now, from the Tower Charpentier, we then go around. We're heading towards the Porte des Rodaz, which is one of the gates that leads out of the city. And then you can see the small gate. The tower that's right next to it, that's closest to us, is called the Tower of Sanson. And I don't know whether that's a relative of the Sanson family, who were the chief executioners during the French Revolution, or not, but that's the name of it. And then here you see the Porte des Rodaz, and it appears that this is a smaller version. If you notice that it looks like it's been a larger gate there that's been filled in, and they just left this one little section. So you can see this period here, this area where we have the northern ramparts, which is the reinforced old Roman walls. Leaving the Sanson Tower, we continue around the fortifications. We're heading towards the Tower of the Treasure, and we have three small turrets here, and then we see a long stretch of wall, and then we see the Treasure Tower. Once you turn the Treasure Tower, now you have this straightaway area leading to the main gate, the Porte de Narbonnaise. You can see the next side of the walls up ahead, and actually some other people. For a long time, I was the only one out here, which is not unusual. Sometimes Sherry and I are the only two people wandering around in the dark in towns and visiting different things, because we're not party people. We usually go out and eat and then come back and rest. Here we are on the map, right here at the Narbonne Tower. If you look up, it's always hard to take pictures of these towers because you can never really there's always fortifications in front of them. So here's a shot at the upper half of it. And then I backed away as far as I could without being on the drawbridge. And then you can see the entryway with the double towers. And then I went out across the drawbridge, and you can see in a nice background, there's the outer walls, there's the inner walls, there's the towers, there's the gate, and there's a car coming towards us. Some of somebody's business is sending out to pick up some material for the next day. And then looking off to one side of the gate, there in the dark shadows is Lady Carcassonne. Then we're going to head into the other half of the city at this particular point. We'll be heading this direction, down, take this curve, and head towards what looks like an amphitheater, and then reach the very back part of the city. Here we see the eastern ramparts. You can see the size of these towers and the power of these walls, and the gap between the outer wall and the inner wall, which is quite large. Now, this would have been where the town, part of the town would have been that had to be removed when the wall was constructed. This gap between the two walls, of course, allows people to, you could bring in cattle, you could bring in large numbers of refugees, and they would still be protected without being on the inner section. But again, the weakness of this fortification is the amount of water that it has available. And you see the various turrets. Starting closest to it, the turret of Saint Sernin, which is the back part of a church. Then you have the turret de Transquat, the turret of Saint Laurent, and the turret de Janvin. The wall takes a turn, and on the one side you see the Levade Tower, and on the other side of it you see the Tower of Balthazar. And so you turn that corner, and here's, before we go around the corner, let's look back, because the lighting is exceptional coming back this direction. And you can see this, I'm going to say 90-foot, 100-foot gap between the outer wall and this inner curtain. And then coming back to where we were at the beginning there, we're going to be continuing on around. So this is the Tour de Pleu, and then they have the Tour des Castres, and there's several of them. We can't see them very well, so I won't bother with the names. And then again, we go around another corner. And then here we have two large towers. Closest one to us is the Tower of St. Martin, and the other one is the Tour de Saint-Nazaire, where the Church of Saint-Nazaire is. And then this ramp is an exit. It's the gate of Saint-Nazaire, and so you go through here, you get up into the gate, and you could go back to the church and then back to the hotel if you wanted to, but we have a little bit further to go before we can do that. So here we are, where we are located on our map. We're right here at the gate of Saint-Nazaire, and so we have to go down to the corner to the area which actually the amphitheater is on the inside of the wall, and then it'll get narrow once we turn that corner to head back to the main gate where we started. Well, we're in the final home stretch. What we see here is the Tour des Moulins du Midi, and then at the very end is the little tower with a big cut in it. That is the Tour des Grands Brûlés. Now, once we get down there, you'll notice that there's a little amphitheater. Now, this is not the big one that you see on the map. This is another one where they will show films and do documentaries and do all sorts of interactive things with groups, and there's just project everything onto the wall. And so that is that location. Now, once you turn around that corner, you're now heading towards the Odd Gate. Now, up above that wall on our right side, that's where the hotel is. At least the backyard of the hotel, the little playground area, if you will. And as you can see, it gets narrower and narrower, making it a lot easier to defend that position if you get into this region. And then ultimately, once you see the gate up ahead, the Odd Gate, and you go through it, you see the castle. You see with the backside a nicely lit up castle of the Tronquevilles. And when I exited and start this, we were so close to it you couldn't see it. But from this direction you can see it very, very well. And the two main towers that you see, the one in front is the Tower of Justice, and the other one is the Tour de Pint, the square one in the back. Then once I get up to that little corner area, it's time to enter back into the walls, heading into the Porte des Audes, the little entrance into the main city. And then here we are on the map, right back where we started from. Here's the entrance. It's time to head back to the hotel, and then ultimately back to our square and in the hotel. And now I'm ready to take a nap and get ready for tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed that. Sherry and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Please come by our YouTube channel at Bob Packett on YouTube. It should be History According to Bob, but it comes up as Bob Packett. That's the easiest way to get to it. And please subscribe and leave some comments. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please subscribe, give a comment, and if you like history, please come by historyaccordingtobob.com website, where I do 6 podcasts a week on different topics in history, and there's all sorts of CDs and other things that you can see. So thank you very much.